My name's Emile, and before Little Boomers Basketball existed, now 22 franchise locations across Australia, I launched an online multi-sports course and it completely bombed. No sales, no customers, nothing. But that so-called failure ended up being one of the most valuable business lessons of my life. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can skip those same most painful mistakes. Too many entrepreneurs waste months building products nobody wants, trying to sell in markets that don't exist, or giving up right before success hits. I've lived that pain firsthand. So in this video, I'll walk you through the 4 key business lessons that my first failed business taught me, so you can avoid the same traps and build something that actually grows.
Hey guys, Coach Emile here today. Now I have some very exciting news. Today I'll be introducing an online coaching course, a multi-sport online coaching course, okay? Now, what you'll be learning in this coaching course is how you can take your current coaching principles and apply them to any sport, even a sport that you may not have played before, okay? Now by doing this, you're able to further your coaching career and you're able to increase your horizon by coaching different sports. You get insight into my course.
Wow, so when I just watched that video, I get goosebumps. That was my first business venture when I got out of high school, right? And I look at that video and I look at someone that thinks they know it all. I thought I knew it all. I read 1 or 2 sales book and I knew how to start a business and I knew how to start an online course. To give you a bit of context, I was coaching and I thought, you know what? I want to start my online coaching course. I heard that a lot of people are making money through coaching courses. So I said, let's start my own one. And the theory was I wanted to create a multi-sports coaching course where I can teach you how to coach all sports: badminton, table tennis, soccer, basketball. You can see from my logo here, we'll put it into the video, the different arrows represents the different sports that I was coaching. Now, I spent about 5 or 6 months getting this course together. I'm not kidding you, I thought I was going to become a millionaire. I was so naive and blinded. I thought the idea was golden, and I think every entrepreneur, when they have an idea, thinks that it's going to be the next million dollar idea. I got the course together, I launched it after 5 months, and I was refreshing to see if there's any sign-ups. I think I was using Udemy at the time. And day went day, 0 sign-ups, 0 sign-ups, 0 sign-ups, 0 sign-ups, and it bombed out. That's it. I didn't have any sign-ups. Nobody joined the course. I tried to push it as much, and I think maybe after 1 or 2 months of seeing 0 sign-ups, I called it quits and I deleted the course. But that business failure taught me so much. It taught me so much because the next thing I did was Little Boomers Basketball. In this video, I'm going to share with you what my first business failure taught me and the lessons that you can take home. Let's get into it. Key point number 1, the riches are in the niches. When I was trying to start this business, I wanted to do multi-sports. I wanted to coach all the sports. The reality is, when you're starting a business, you want to focus on one lane and just go down that one lane. And there's a saying, the riches are in the niches. And when you think about it, take for example, doctors and general practitioners. When you go to your GP, you're going to pay about what, $50, $80. They're a general practitioner. The key word is general. When you go to a specialist, let's say you go to a back specialist or a shoulder specialist, you know that you're paying north of $500 just for probably a 20-minute visit. People pay to be a specialty. It pays money. So when you're starting a business, one of the common kind of fallacies people fall through is they want to do a range of things. They want to offer a range of services, a range of products. And the reality is they just become very average across a whole bunch of things. You want to pick a lane and go all in on that lane. And you want to become a specialty in that lane. For us, give you a great example with Little Boomers Basketball. We specialize at the grassroots level, kids learning to play basketball. We have stayed in that lane for 6 years now. We haven't gone to high school kids. We haven't gone down the competitive route. We haven't gone down the competition route. And believe me, franchisees and people say it to us all the time, you should do this, or this is popping off. You should get into this. Nah, we're not interested. We're not interested. We're not interested. Our specialty will always be the grassroots level. Kids wanting to learn to play, have fun, make some friends whilst we're teaching them basketball skills. So just remember, the riches are in the niches. Pick a lane, stay in that lane, become a specialty, become a leader in your authority by specializing. Key point number 2, check for product market fit. Before you start to launch your business, before you go all in, don't be naive like I was. I thought that there's going to be a boatload of people wanting to learn how to coach multi-sports, how to coach badminton, how to coach soccer. I was just so naive. I thought, yeah, you know what? Everybody's going to want to learn that. The reality is you need to make sure if you're starting a business, you need to be solving a pain point, right? And the second point to that is there enough people that experience that pain point, right? If there's only a very small group that has that pain point, right? Don't go do that business. You want to be solving a pain point that a lot of people experience. You got to do research to see if there is a fit. And what happens is, the entrepreneur gets excited. They think it's going to be a $1 million idea. They get a little bit blindsided. Nah, everyone's going to like it. And then they launch the product. They spend a lot of money. Like me, you spent months of recording, getting everything going to realize that, well, there's not many people that actually need this or have this pain point, and there's just not enough. So you got to do product market fit, right? Whether you want to do a research, whether you want to go out to the field. I was speaking to a friend of mine. He said to me, he's starting up his own dance academy. He's like, I don't know if I should do this or should do. I said, send a survey out. Give someone, hey, say I'm going to give you a free term or free $50 voucher if you complete this form, and get 500 or 1,000 to make sure you've got a big enough sample size. So make sure before you launch your business that you have a product market fit. Let's get into the third key point. The other day I was speaking to a lady and she was telling me that she's run some hypothetical profit and loss numbers and she wanted to run them by me. So I said, okay, what do you have? I've calculated, Emile, the court hire fees to be about $200 an hour. And then I said, whoa, hold on. Your numbers are really off. And so I said, where did you get those numbers from? Oh, look, I assumed. Never assume. I've created a franchise profit calculator where you can input real numbers, court hire fees, coaches' wages, how many kids you have in the program, so you can find out what your potential profit is per class. Click the link below to use the calculator. I hope you find it useful. Key point number 3, if they don't know you, they don't buy from you. I'll say that one more time. If they don't know you, they will not buy from you. And I'll give you a great example of me. When I was doing this online course, I had no marketing strategy or no marketing plan behind it. I was naive to say, you know what, this course is going to be so good that I'm not going to need to market it. It's going to be so great that when I launch it, people will just somehow miraculously see this course and sign up for it. That's what I had in my head. And a lot of entrepreneurs think the same thing. They say, I've got a fantastic product. I've got a fantastic service. It's got all these features. It's got all this. Nobody in this landscape is doing it right now. People are just going to come there. No, that doesn't work, guys. It's not good enough. When you start a business, you have no credibility. You have no authority. You have no trust from customers. Nobody knows you. And if they don't know you, no matter how good your product or service is, they will not buy from you. People don't buy the best products. They buy the brands they know. Grant Cardone says this very well. It's got nothing to do with the quality of your service. Yes, you have to have a really good quality product or service, because if you don't, people are going to buy once and never come again and give you a 1-star review, right? But people they don't spend enough time on marketing about how they're going to get the word out, how they're going to get products, how they're going to get sales, how they're going to get awareness, how they're going to get eyeballs. They just focus obsessively so much on the product. Yes, you've got to make sure the product or service is good, but you need to have a marketing plan behind it. So just remember, if they don't know you, they don't buy from you. Let's move on to the next point. Key point number 4, and this is the most important point of the video. I've left the best to last. Failure doesn't exist. Only quitting does. I know the title of this video is called Failure, but this first business venture wasn't a failure. I don't see it as a failure. All I see it as is a course correction. It was a way for me to pivot. If I saw this business as a failure, if I looked at this and said, I'm a failure, I'm never going to be able to run a business, I'm never going to be able to do this, I would not have launched Little Boomers Basketball 6 months later. Failure doesn't exist. All failure is feedback to course correct. Like when you're aiming for a cannon and you're aiming for a target and you're 5 degrees to the left, what do? You move 5 degrees to the right, you course correct. And then let's say it moves a little bit more to the left, then you go course correct to the 5 degrees to the right. That's all failures are. Failures are feedback in real time for you to course correct. The only failure is you completely quitting. That's the ultimate failure. If I was to quit and say I'm never going to run a business in my life and go back to my corporate job, I would have defined that as failure. But I didn't. I used that as feedback. I used that as course correction to alter my plan. I then ran into Little Boomers Basketball 6 months later. So for you starting your business, if you're not where you are right now, if you've had a couple of hurdles or it hasn't panned out, just remember the true failure is you quitting. Use that as course correction and use that as feedback to pivot your plan. So guys, that brings us to the end of the video. That was my online multi-sports coaching course, my first business failure. Again, it's not called a failure, it's called feedback, it's called course correction. Those are 4 powerful lessons that I learned. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, if you liked it, if you got any value from the video, leave us a comment, share it to a friend. You can let a friend know what my face looked like when I was 18, and I'll see you in the next video.